What's up, everyone? This is Dustin Stelzer with another episode of Journey to Master, your electrician podcast. I guess I should start saying that from now on. A lot of people don't realize that this is like an electrical podcast, but it is. So if you're an electrician, cool. If you're not an electrician, just listen anyways. I don't know. You might learn some shit. Anyways, so this is the follow-up, guys. I'm home from New York City. The New York fucking crazy tour that I was on is over with. I talk like it was a shitty experience. It was not a shitty experience. I'm just like so mind blown that there are people that live in that environment and that there are so many people that live in that environment and that it's functional. I'm just not used to that. Like, there's so much hustle bustle. Anyways, I wanted to do a video just to talk about some of the tools that I saw there. I can't talk too much about like specifics of them. Some of the stuff is like still in prototype stage. Some of the stuff's not been released yet. So like we kind of got to go in there and just fuck with stuff that's not even out yet, which is pretty cool. I feel like fucking Tom Cruise or something. Like I feel like I'm all top secret clearance. But there is some really cool shit coming out. But I want to talk about the brands at least and give you some previews of some of the stuff that's coming out. I'll give you some like the photos of some things. So the brands that were there are, you know, mainly the big brands at the THD Prospective event. So Milwaukee was there. They had all of their, you know, drills and saws and everything. And they actually had they had like two booths. Their second booth was all their lighting stuff. They're coming out with a hell of a lot of lighting. Like they had just as much job site lighting and like bar lights and little, you know, pen lights and lights that are magnetic that have like swiveling heads that you could put up above a ceiling grid. They've got tons of lights that they're coming out with. All of them are battery operated, so you can just take the battery off your drill and stick it into this thing and it's a light. But I was really impressed with that. Lately I've been thinking about switching to Milwaukee. I don't know. Dewalt was also there. Dewalt's got some really cool shit coming out, like the voltages on their batteries. You know, like most people in the industry are using 12 and 18 volt. Some people, you know, Dewalt's got 20 volt stuff out there. But Dewalt actually has some 60 volt batteries. They've been out for a while, but they have tools now that if you can stack two of these 60 volt batteries and have 120 volts of fucking battery power, that's pretty dope. I mean, like, that's the same power you'd get at an outlet. It's just DC. But I thought that was pretty cool. Dewalt's really stepped their game up, I think. From the stuff that I've been seeing at this event, like, they've got some, like, worm drive kind of... It's not technically a worm drive drill, but it looks just like a worm drive. The part about worm drive drills is, like, that worm drive takes up so much space, so you can't fit, like, a battery in it. It's just such a heavy tool, and for those of you who don't know what a worm drive is, it's basically just a circular saw, but it's got a long handle. So instead of cutting, you know, the disc is, the blade is spinning down here. Instead of pushing down and cutting, you're actually driving it from the side, so it's spinning right here, and you're pushing. You know, like you could be up on a roof somewhere, and you just let the gravity of the thing do the cutting. So that's the benefit of the worm drive. But they've got some worm drive similar technology where you take a battery and you stick it in the middle of this saw, and it feels and functions very, very powerfully, just like a worm drive saw would do that's got a cord on it. So I was really impressed with that. Like the hammer drills that they're coming out with, the battery technology, they're changing the game with being able to get more voltage and more amp hours out of smaller batteries. I think that out of all of the other companies that I saw there, I think that they're developing the next step in battery technology. We'll just say that. Makita's doing a lot of things to, like, everybody has this central theme of like capturing dust, you know, like the HEPA filtration. There's some big laws and big fines that are happening by OSHA lately if you like allow dust to travel off of a job and like, you know, get on somebody's car or like get into like a breathable area where people can actually breathe in dust from you like drilling out masonry. So every single one of these tool brands had some sort of crazy vacuum technology that could be hooked up. Some guys developed these special bits that like drill bits, you know, for a hammer drill that have holes in them, and the whole shaft of the bit is hollow, so it'll suck in particulates. So as you're hammer drilling, when you pull your bit out, the hole is completely clean. There's no dust. It automatically vacuums it with a HEPA filter into a vacuum. Some of them have like a backpack that you can wear. Makita specifically has a backpack, and then you hook the hose right up to the actual tool. And then they've got this weird little cone thing that, or not even a cone. They've got this weird little plastic like accordion thing that goes on the end of the tip of whatever you're drilling. What else? Ridgid was there. Ridgid's got some really crazy new tech that I can't really talk about, but the idea of it is they're trying to develop something where you can have multiple tools use the same handle, and you just detach the head of something off, put it back on, and you got a completely different tool in your hand. And you detach that again, you got to, you know, there's like 3 different tools for that. That way you're using all the same batteries, you're using the same tool, you just have these different heads. I feel a lot of ways about this, both positive and negative. I'm hoping that I can get my hands on one of these, but again, they're kind of still in like prototype stage on this, so I don't really even know if this year, within the next 18 months, they're going to even have these out for any of us to be able to test. Who else was there? Diablo. Diablo has some of the craziest blades. You know, like Milwaukee sells blades. A lot of different companies sell like Sawzall blades, or you know, circular saw blades. Diablo even designed some new like netting for sandpaper. So instead of you using sandpaper when you're sanding something, or even on like a rotary sander, you can put this little disc on that's like a mesh, and instead of all of the dust piling up underneath the sandpaper as you're sanding, it actually lets the dust float up into the disc, and it allows you to still keep cutting through. Any of y'all that do a lot of sanding and a lot of woodwork, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you'll get through sanding something, and after about like 10 pushes, you're not sanding, you're not cutting through the paint anymore, or the top surface of what you're sanding, because you're building up all that fine dust and you're just pushing the shit around. So this new stuff that Diablo came out with is actually pretty dope. Like, it cuts through very quickly, and you can sand for a lot longer, because it has a place for all of that particulate and all that paint or whatever you're taking off to go. Bosch was there. Bosch has got some crazy new laser technology. I use Bosch lasers. Every one of these brands, for the most part, I use at some capacity. I've got some kind of tool of theirs that I use. So I know a lot about the flaws in some of their technology, and a lot about what's great about their technology, and I was able to talk to a lot of them about it. But one of the things I use is a Bosch level, and I've got the level that like shoots a dot up on the ceiling, but it also shoots a line out vertically and a line out horizontally, which is really cool. But there's some flaws to it. Like if you have the thing sitting on the ground, it'll shoot the laser up this way, and it shoots a line out this way. But behind you, it doesn't shoot anything out. So that's just like something that's kind of shitty. It's a disadvantage. But they've got this new style of the same thing that shoots like a kind of a grid up. It shoots multiple lines up everywhere. They got rid of the dot function, and it'll shoot a line behind it, in front of it, on the sides of it. But really, really cool. I want to get my hands on one big time. They've also got a distance measuring tool, or a range finder. They're called a bunch of different things, but it's basically like you take this thing and you push a button and it shoots a laser across a room and it reads out a measurement. A lot of people have those, but most of them are just digital and all they provide is numbers. Bosch just came out with one that actually has a video screen of what you're looking at. So you can look in the screen and shoot something up to 400 feet away, and see what you're shooting it at in the screen and then lock that so you know for sure that you're measuring from what you think you are. The problem is when you're like 300 feet away from something or 400 feet away, that beam widens out so much and you just lose the ability to reflect back. So a lot of the times you'll get shitty readings, or you'll think that you're on the corner of this beam, but you're not. So this screen, it's like having your phone screen. You know, you can actually zoom in and see what the hell you're pointing your laser at and lock it and then come back out. Plus it's 400 fucking feet. I mean, that's awesome. What else? So there was Ridgid, Makita, Milwaukee, Dewalt, Ridgid NXT actually had a whole bunch of different vacuums. Bunch of new vacuums they're coming out with. They all look the exact same. They're all designed the exact same. Some of them are just a little bit taller. Some of them can suck up like 30 golf balls at a time because they're super powerful. Not a lot's being done about their like hose technology. A lot of times the way that the hose comes out and the way their feet come out just make them cumbersome as shit to try to put in a truck. And they always have all these little plastic things that come off the side and they fucking get broken off really easily. So that was one thing I talked to him about, is all the stuff that they had there. They were trying to make reeling up hoses around one of these Ridgid vacuums a lot easier, because that's been a problem. Most of these fucking vacuums, you got to take the thing off and wrap the hose up, take the top off the vacuum, stick the hose in, put that back on. Some of them, they don't fit that way. So you're just like taking your hose and rolling it up and throwing it back in the truck. So they're trying to develop some new stuff around that. What else? Bosch was there. Oh, Husky was there as well. Husky has a whole new line of ratchet socket sets they're coming out with. It's like, I think it's called Husky Black. It's all black colored. They've got some new toolboxes that they're coming out with. They've got a lot of new things. They've got like a digital torque wrench, which is badass as an electrician. Like torquing and putting things to torque specifications is starting to become a bigger and bigger thing. So something that's digital, that just has a screw in and you can pop and actually see a digital readout of what you're measuring. That's pretty cool. They said that they actually have some torquing screwdrivers too, which is another good thing to have, which it sucks that you'd have to like put a plug and like torque everything, every single screw to everything. It's just going to make our job a lot longer and harder and have more. Things are going to be safer. You know, all that being said, anything you hook up electrical, you want to make sure you hit the torque specs on it to make sure nothing arcs, or make sure there's no loose connections, because that's how shit burns up in our trade. It's like loose connections. When an arc happens in a loose connection, it just heats everything up. That arc like superheats everything and just melts shit. Dremel was also there. Dremel's got some cool stuff. They've got this little, like, it's like probably this big. It's essentially a pen, and you can put different bits on it, and you can sit and draw things or like carve things into, you know, wood, into glass, into porcelain, tiles, stone, all kinds of shit. But I got to sit and draw with this thing, and it's actually really cool. I mean, it's got a cord on it. It's not wireless. Just because of size, I guess if they put batteries in it, they would have to make it a lot bigger to hold batteries that it would work long enough for you to not run out while you're in the middle of drawing something. But that was pretty cool. And they also brought in this, I guess it's like a CNC laser printer kind of thing. It's got a screen that you can put a design in, and then you put material. You can put leather, you can put wood, you can put all kinds of stuff in it, but it's got a laser, and it just laser prints whatever your design is onto this thing. So they were making these little leather pouches that had like paper in it, and that, you know, you could just bring it on a job site and open it up, and it's leather bound. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't even know that Dremel was into the laser etching game, but they had some like coasters and stuff that they had laser etched. It's pretty expensive technology, but it seems cool as fuck. I would love to get my hands on one of those pieces of machinery, especially with the kind of art that I do. My art is like really super line, you know, detail, so I'd love to be able to like throw up a design that I have and have it, you know, print out on like pieces of wood or pieces of metal or something like that. I'll have to check into that. But I need some G's. I need some like 5 G's for what that is. And last but not least is Ryobi. Ryobi was there, and they came through strong. I was very impressed with Ryobi. I, up until lately, just never had been impressed with Ryobi. Ryobi like admits as a company that they are not pro grade, strongest out there on the market, like industrial grade tools. They're basically tools that are made for being at home for like DIY people that do projects at home, or that are not like drilling 7,000 holes a day with their drill. They're drilling like 7 holes a day, or like just using it every so often. Not every so often. Ryobi's, it's good for DIY use. If you as a business or as a person like do at home projects a lot, Ryobi's great. Like, there's more than enough power for anything that you're ever going to use. More than enough battery life. It's just being an electrician, being a plumber, being like AC guy or framer or whatever, somebody that every single day uses super powerful tools. Ryobi's just not that niche, and they know that. That's not the niche they're going for. But I will say, all the shit that I played with of Ryobi's has made me want Ryobi. Like, Ryobi is a super versatile brand, and their creative team, whoever's developing the kinds of tools that they're coming up with, is fucking spot on. They've got some like gimmicky things, because instead of developing like raw power, they're just developing things that like are practical. There's a vacuum cleaner that it's like a lawnmower. It folds up into this thing, and then like a handle comes out and you fold it down, and it looks like a lawnmower. And it's got these two like circular wire whisk discs on them, and it'll pick up like huge chunks of wood and shit. So if you're cutting stuff with a saw and you get sawdust and like big pieces, instead of you having to separate all that stuff and sweep it up into a dustpan and throw that in a box and then be able to vacuum because now the particles are small enough for your vacuum to be able to handle, no dude, you just fucking drive this thing over and you mow over everything that you just cut, and I shit you not, it'll like pick up huge pieces of stuff. I don't know how it does with like metal, like if we have slugs that we're busting holes in like metal material and there's metal chunks. I just don't know. I didn't get to try it on anything metal. But again, I want one of these. I want to be able to try this out because it's a cool fucking tool. They've got some wireless speakers that like 2 of them Bluetooth together, and they'll go within 150-foot range. So like you could throw music on upstairs and then go downstairs and put this other speaker downstairs and hit a button, and it'll play the same music on both floors, and they talk to each other. That's pretty dope. Again, not like a super tool kind of thing, but it still has a practical place. I've never been on a job site that there's not music blaring. So the problem is, like you'll set music up where you're working, but the guys downstairs want to listen to music and they can't because they can't hear. So it's just cool to be able to play the same music through 2 different speakers. They've got some vacuum stuff too, some HEPA filtration. They've got some more powerful batteries that are coming out. Beyond that, I can't really talk about too much of the specifics. I've asked some of these manufacturers, like, can I talk about this yet? Can I talk about this? And they're like, no, I need to wait until we actually release that. So these tool reviews that I'm going to be doing are going to be for the next year, but they're going to be every quarter. So like every 3 months, there's going to be a new line of a few of these tools that are going to come out. So they're going to send, a grip of tools, and then I'll be able to review them, use them for a little while, figure out what I like, what I don't like, talk about that with y'all, and then give the shit away. Or keep it if it's like really, really cool. But I'm excited, man. I'm so excited. I'm starting to develop a relationship with some of these tool manufacturers, and all of them are really helpful. But I think I was going to say I think the one tool company that I want to work with is, but I'm not going to do that because I'd be shooting myself in the foot. There's actually a few people that could persuade me in any direction, based on the stuff that they've got coming out and the type of research and the type of development that they're doing in their tools. It's just mind-blowing. There's a lot of new cool shit coming out. One other thing. Most of the companies, not all of them, but quite a few of them are developing Bluetooth technology in their batteries. So from the battery to a tool, they will Bluetooth to each other. So when that tool is under a load, if it's a big load or just a light load, that battery and that tool will figure out between them what kind of load is going through the tool, and then the battery will adjust itself for usage. So your battery is going to last a whole hell of a lot longer, and you'll only have to, like when you're driving through something really heavy duty, you'll have that power available, but then when you're using it really light, it's going to reserve that usage. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I kind of think that more moving parts and more shit that can go wrong on something, the more that's going to go wrong. So introducing electronics like Bluetooth and stuff to tools just kind of scares me a bit. But, you know, give it a few years and they're probably going to fucking have like arm attachment tools and like chips in our head. So fuck, who knows? This is just the first development of these things. Anyways, look forward to getting some of these bad boys in. It may be another month or so before I actually get some of them in. But stay tuned. I will let all of y'all know. Again, if you're not following Twitter, or if you're not following, I'm sorry, not Twitter. If you're not following my Instagram or my Facebook page, you're going to miss out on the first few of these. There's been a ruckus of people that are disappointed in me that I'm not going to be giving things away on YouTube. And to you, I say, go yourself. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love y'all. I will probably do some sort of YouTube only giveaway, but shh, don't tell anybody. But I may, because there's some of you that have been following me on YouTube for a while and you're like, I don't have a Facebook and I don't have Instagram and I don't think it's fair. It's just not fair. So I'll figure something out for you fucking complainers. Anyways, I love you guys. Again, if you missed the last episode where we were talking about where you can go for all the tool giveaways, make sure you're following Journey to Master on Facebook. Journey number 2 Master. Make sure you're following Electrician U. It is at The Electrician U on Facebook. Instagram, same thing, Journey to Master, and Electrician_U on Instagram. But make sure you're following those pages because those are the ones that I'm going to start announcing all of this shit on. And Home Depot and all these tool companies are like really trying to push Instagram, and Facebook. So that's where they want us to do all of this stuff. So that's where I'm going to do it. But that's all I got for you today. Look forward to some Electrician U videos coming out. I'm going to start talking about 4-way switches. I'm going to take apart some 3-ways and 4-ways. Talk about breakers and how breakers work. There's some misunderstandings out there about how panels work and how like electricity goes through a system. So I'm going to have some electrical theory stuff coming up pretty soon on Electrician U. So if you haven't checked Electrician U out, go check my other channel, Electrician U. Some cool shit going on for apprentices and guys that are like trying to get into this trade for them to understand like how to do stuff. But all right, I'm done talking. I'll let you guys go. Have a good one. Peace out. See you in the next episode.